Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're taking a look at the evolution of Ho'oponopono, from ancient ritual to modern mantra. We're going to completely trace its transformation, starting way back as this communal Hawaiian ritual, right up to the highly individualized psychological tool you probably recognize today. It's a pretty brilliant story of culture, psychology, and healing. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you heard this famous mental cleansing mantra? If you've ever even slightly dipped your toes into modern spirituality or self-help, there is a very high chance you've stumbled across it. You know, it's all over social media, in best-selling books, wellness workshops, the whole shebang. But how much do we actually know about what we're saying? I mean, it's so easy to just repeat words without grasping their true weight. So what exactly is this famous mantra? I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. There they are, the four core phrases. On the surface, they seem incredibly simple, right? Just basic, everyday expressions of apology, gratitude, and love. We use variations of these literally every single day. But in the modern practice of Ho'oponopono, these exact phrases are strung together as a seriously powerful tool for internal clearing. They aren't just polite chit-chat. They're actually designed to completely reset your mental state. But we have to peel the onion back a little bit here. What are the true origins of these four powerful phrases? Because this streamlined modern version we all know, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's actually the culmination of centuries of indigenous wisdom. To really grasp the gravity behind those words, we need to take a step back in time and uncover the incredibly rich communal Hawaiian history that birthed them. We got to go straight to the source. Ho'oponopono is rooted in pre-colonial Hawaii as an ancient, community-based family counseling tradition. Before it ever became a mantra you'd repeat to yourself in your living room, it was exactly that, a communal tradition. It essentially functioned as a formal method of family counseling. They used it to resolve conflicts, heal deep emotional wounds, and restore spiritual balance within the whole community. The focus was entirely on the collective, not just the isolated individual. And what's really fascinating is how the Hawaiian language itself literally builds the purpose of the practice. Look at this breakdown. Ho'o compared to pono. Ho'o is a particle meaning to cause or to do, and pono means goodness, uprightness, correct procedure, or harmony. It's all about living in complete balance with nature and humanity. So the crucial point is what happens when you smash those two halves together. Ho'oponopono literally translates to set right, to make correct, or to restore order and harmony. See, it's an active word. It's not just a passive state of being. It's the actual physical and spiritual action of bringing something back into perfect alignment. You're taking something broken and actively repairing it. And to understand why they needed to set things right, we need to look at ancient Hawaiian beliefs on illness. Back then, they didn't separate the physical body from the mind or the family unit. Physical illness and bad luck were seen as stemming directly from spiritual errors, which they called hala or hiwa. So if there was unresolved anger hidden within the extended family at the ohana, it actually caused physical distress. A sick family member wasn't just an individual problem. They were essentially a walking symptom of disrupted household harmony. So how did they actually fix that? Well, they had gatherings, usually led by a kahuna lipa'au, or respected elder. It was a very structured four-step process. First, the pule, an opening prayer calling on ancestral wisdom. Then, discussion, which was a brutally honest confession of grievances. Third came the hala, the literal repentance and release of all that emotional baggage. And finally, the pani, the closing ceremony. It's this beautiful story of a family actively working to heal together. Actually, let's zoom in on that closing ceremony for a second, because the pani ceremony often involved eating limu kala, which is a type of seaweed, to symbolize forgiveness and cutting away the past. Kala literally means to forgive or untie. So sharing this specific seaweed was a highly symbolic, tangible act of untangling resentments and sealing their reconciliation. It really grounded their emotional healing in the physical world. Okay, let's move forward and see how this builds across the historical bridge. We start in the pre-colonial era with that ancient communal family counseling tradition we just talked about. Then Western influences started changing things. So in 1958, Native scholar Mary Kawina Pakui formally documents the practice to preserve it. Fast forward to the 1970s, and Morrnah Simeona modernizes it into a self-help framework. And finally, in the modern era, Dr. Hew Len and Joe Vitale completely popularize it globally. The shift here is honestly staggering. we're looking at the ancient tradition, communal, extended family gatherings to resolve outward conflicts, to the modern framework, which is an individual, inward psychospiritual practice for an isolated society. Morrnah Simeona realized that in our fast-paced, highly individualized modern world, families just couldn't easily gather from multi-day councils anymore. So she brilliantly adapted it. She took that deep community healing and essentially moved it into the solitary mind. She actually named this modernized method self-identity through Ho'oponopono. And her core philosophy was a massive paradigm shift. As she put it, all problems exist as memories or data replaying in the subconscious mind. Let that sink in for a second. She taught that external conflicts are literally just reflections of our internal data, meaning you could heal external situations entirely by working on yourself. You didn't need the whole village in the room anymore. The village was already inside your head. And that intense inward focus is what leads us to this legendary story. Dr. Ihaleakala Hew Len famously applied this internal mental cleaning at the Hawaii State Hospital's ward for the criminally insane. The story goes that he never actually held traditional sit-down therapy sessions with these patients. Instead, he just sat in his office, reviewed their files, and practiced this internal clearing on himself, taking total responsibility for the reality he was witnessing. And over time, the ward experienced absolutely unprecedented transformation. Incredible, right? So, you're probably wondering, what exactly was he doing while looking at those files? He was using the modern mantra. Let's get the modern mantra decoded. I'm sorry isn't about feeling guilty. It's acknowledging your part in the discord. Please forgive me is actively asking for release. Thank you is expressing gratitude for the lesson. And I love you is that final crucial step of transmuting that heavy negative energy straight back into pure love. So what does this all mean for us? Well, the core philosophy is this. You must take total responsibility for your reality to clear subconscious blocks. It's challenging for sure, but it is intensely empowering. It means accepting that whatever you experience, whatever distresses you about others, is actually just a piece of data within your own mind that needs to be set right. It gives you literally the ultimate agency over your own emotional state. We've traveled all the way from ancient Hawaiian families gathering in a circle, right down to a modern individual quietly clearing their own mind. It really is a beautiful evolution. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this. How will you apply the philosophy of setting things right in your own life today? Knowing this incredibly rich history, how does that change the way you see those 4 simple phrases? Thanks for exploring this with us, and keep learning.